Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Lucas, and I've dedicated my career to helping seniors like you live your healthiest, most vibrant lives. Have you ever thought about getting remarried but wondered if you're making the right choice? Marriage later in life is a completely different experience than when you were younger, and there are some truths that people often overlook until it's too late. Whether you've been single for a while, recently, divorced or even widowed, remarriage comes with unique challenges that can affect your finances, relationships, and overall happiness in ways you may not have considered. In this video we're going to uncover 5 essential truths that you need to know before remarrying after 60. These insights might just change how you view love, commitment, and long-term security at this stage in your life. Too often, people rush into remarriage without thinking about how it could impact their future, and later they find themselves dealing with unexpected stress and complications. But when you have the right knowledge, you can make the best decision for yourself, one that brings fulfillment, peace, and stability. Stay tuned until the end because understanding these 5 truths could help you avoid unnecessary heartache and ensure that any new relationship you enter is truly right for you. Whether you're considering remarrying soon or just exploring the possibility, you'll want to hear this. Now let's get started. Number 1, financial realities change after 60. One of the biggest surprises people face when remarrying later in life is how much it can impact their financial situation. Many assume that getting married again is simply about love and companionship, but the reality is that marriage is also a legal and financial commitment. If you're not careful, it can affect your retirement savings, social security benefits, pensions, and even what you leave behind for your children or loved ones. The last thing you want is to enter a marriage, believing it will make life easier only to realize later that it has complicated your financial future in ways you never expected. One major consideration is how remarriage affects social security benefits. Many people don't realize that if you are receiving benefits based on a former spouse's work record, those benefits may be reduced or even eliminated once you remarry. This can come as a shock, especially if you are relying on that income to maintain your lifestyle. Additionally, pensions and survivor benefits often come with restrictions, some of which are voided upon remarriage. If you or your partner receive pension payments, it's worth reviewing the terms carefully before making any decisions. Beyond government benefits, there's also the issue of retirement, savings, and estate planning. When you marry, your financial situation is no longer just about you. It now involves another person's assets, debts, and spending habits. Even if you and your new spouse keep separate bank accounts, state laws may impact how assets are divided in the event of a divorce or passing if you have children or grandchildren. You'll also want to consider how a new marriage affects their inheritance. Many people assume they can simply leave their assets to their kids as planned, but remarriage often changes. Legal rights regarding property and wealth distribution. Take Robert, for example, a 72-year-old who remarried after being widowed. He had always assumed that his children would inherit his estate, but after his remarriage he learned that his new wife had legal claims to his assets, which meant his children could end up receiving less than he originally intended. He had to navigate difficult conversations and legal changes to ensure that everyone he cared about was protected. If you're considering remarriage, take the time to talk to a financial advisor or an estate planner. Make sure you understand how it will impact your financial situation, your retirement, and any assets you plan to pass down. These conversations may not feel romantic, but they are essential for protecting your future. Number 2, family dynamics can get complicated. When you remarry later in life, you're not just blending 2 lives, you're blending families, histories, and expectations. And while love might bring 2 people together, family relationships can introduce complexities that many don't anticipate. Unlike younger couples who are building a life from the ground up, people over 60 often come into a new marriage with adult children, grandchildren, and decades of established family dynamics. These relationships don't always merge as smoothly as you might hope. One of the biggest challenges is how adult children react to a new marriage. Even if they want you to be happy, they may struggle with feelings of loyalty to your previous spouse or worry about how this new relationship will affect family traditions, finances, or inheritance. Some may welcome your new partner with open arms, while others may feel resentment, suspicion, or even concern for your well-being. These emotions are completely natural. But if they aren't handled with care, they can create lasting tension that affects not just your marriage but your entire family. Beyond children, relationships with grandchildren can also shift. If you've spent years being the primary grandparent figure in their lives, introducing a new spouse can feel like a disruption to them. Some may embrace it while others may need time to adjust. The same goes for your new spouse's family. If they have children or grandchildren of their own, blending traditions and expectations can take patience and understanding. Another factor to consider is how remarriage affects inheritance and financial matters. It's not uncommon for children to worry that a new spouse might change existing wills, alter financial plans, or even receive a portion of what they assumed was meant for them. And while money may not be the focus of your new relationship, it's often an underlying concern for family members. Some conflicts arise not because of greed, but because children want to ensure that their parents' legacy is honored the way it was originally intended. Take Susan, for example. At 68, she remarried after being single for over a decade. She assumed her children would be happy for her, but instead she found herself navigating uncomfortable conversations about inheritance, holiday traditions, and even where she would live. While she knew her kids loved her, she quickly realized that her new marriage required open discussions and reassurances to maintain harmony within the family. If you're considering remarriage, take time to talk with your family. Be open about your intentions, listen to their concerns, and set clear expectations about what will and won't change. It may take time for everyone to adjust, but addressing these concerns early on can prevent misunderstandings and resentment later. The key is to approach these conversations with patience, honesty, and reassurance that your decision is about finding companionship while still valuing the relationships you've built over the years. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, emotional expectations are different. At this stage in life, relationships look different than they did decades ago. When you were younger, marriage often revolved around building a life together, raising children, buying a home, growing careers. But after 60, priorities shift. Marriage isn't necessarily about starting from scratch. It's about companionship, emotional support, and maintaining independence while sharing life with someone. This change in dynamic is something many people don't fully consider before remarrying, and it can lead to unexpected challenges. One of the biggest differences is the level of independence each person brings into the marriage. By the time you reach your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you've already established routines, habits, and a way of living that suits you. You may have your own home, personal hobbies, and a daily rhythm that makes you feel comfortable. A new marriage introduces another person's habits, lifestyle preferences, and expectations into your world. And that adjustment isn't always easy. Some people expect remarriage to be as effortless as finding the right partner. But in reality, it requires careful navigation of boundaries, personal space, and individual identity, unlike younger couples who may be building financial security together later in life. Marriages often involve two individuals who are already financially stable and emotionally self-sufficient. This means that the reasons for coming together are different. Love, companionship, and shared experiences become more important than external achievements. However, this also means that both partners need to be clear about their expectations. How much time they want to spend together, how they handle disagreements, and how they maintain personal independence while still nurturing the relationship. Another factor to consider is past emotional experiences. If you've lost a spouse or gone through a difficult divorce, those memories and emotions don't simply disappear when you remarry. You and your new partner, Fulnolairu Suru Suru, both bring decades of history with you, previous relationships, family connections, and deeply ingrained perspectives on love and commitment. This isn't a bad thing, but it does mean that being emotionally open, patient, and understanding is essential. The way you communicate, express affection, or handle disagreements may be shaped by past experiences. And learning how to navigate those differences is key to a successful second marriage. Take Harold, for example. At 75, he found love again after being widowed for several years. But what he didn't expect was how different this new relationship felt compared to his first marriage. His late wife had been his partner for decades, and the way they functioned as a couple was deeply ingrained in him. His new wife, meanwhile, had been divorced for many years and valued her independence in ways he hadn't encountered before. It took time for them to find their rhythm, to balance closeness with personal space, to communicate without comparing the past, and to fully embrace the unique dynamic of their marriage. If you're thinking about remarrying, ask yourself, what do you truly want out of this relationship? Are you looking for companionship without too much change in your daily routine? Do you want to share a home? Or would you prefer to maintain separate living spaces? Are you emotionally ready for the realities of blending two established lives? The answers to these questions can help ensure that your next marriage is built on mutual understanding rather than unmet expectations. Number 4, legal considerations matter more than you think. Marriage isn't just an emotional commitment, it's a legal contract. And when you remarry after 60, the legal aspects of that contract can be far more complex than they were in your younger years. Many people assume that love alone is enough to make a marriage work. But without understanding the legal implications, you might find yourself facing unexpected consequences down the road. From prenuptial agreements to medical decision-making rights, there are critical legal matters that should be addressed before you say, "I do." One of the first things to consider is how remarriage affects your estate planning. When you marry, your spouse may automatically gain certain legal rights to your assets, even if you intended to leave them to your children, grandchildren, or other loved ones. Without a clear plan in place, your estate could be divided in ways you never anticipated. This is why many people choose to update their wills or establish trust before getting remarried, ensuring that their assets are distributed according to their wishes. Another important legal factor is medical decision-making. If you were to become ill or incapacitated, who would have the right to make medical choices on your behalf? In many cases, a spouse is automatically given priority over adult children or other family members. This can create tension, particularly if your new spouse and your children have different opinions on your care. Setting up advanced directives or a medical power of attorney can clarify your wishes and prevent potential conflicts before they arise. Prenuptial agreements are another tool that can provide clarity and protection for both partners. While some people hesitate to bring up a prenuptial agreement because they worry it might seem unromantic, the reality is that it can help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that both parties are entering the marriage with clear expectations. A well-structured prenuptial agreement can outline how assets, debts, and financial responsibilities will be handled, reducing the risk of disputes later on. Take Eleanor for example. At 67, she fell in love and was excited about remarrying. But she also had significant assets that she wanted to leave to her children. She and her fiancé had an open conversation and decided to draft a prenuptial agreement that clearly defined their financial boundaries. This not only gave her peace of mind, but also reassured her children that their inheritance was secure. Legal matters aren't always comfortable to talk about, but they are necessary. If you're considering remarriage, it's wise to sit down with an attorney who specializes in estate planning and family law. Having these discussions early on can prevent confusion and stress later, allowing you to focus on what truly matters, building a fulfilling and secure relationship. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, the definition of happiness changes with age. As we get older, our understanding of happiness shifts. In our younger years, marriage often symbolizes building a future, raising a family, establishing financial security, or creating a shared life from the ground up. But after 60, happiness is no longer about building. It's about maintaining, enjoying, and finding fulfillment in the life you've already created. This means that before you remarry, it's essential to ask yourself, does this relationship align with the kind of happiness you truly want at this stage of life? Many people assume that getting married again will automatically bring them joy. But the truth is, happiness in later years comes from different sources than it once did. For some, it's about companionship and sharing daily life with someone. For others, it's about maintaining independence while having a partner for special moments. And for some, it's about preserving their lifestyle and not having to compromise on long-standing routines and habits. The key is understanding what happiness looks like for you now, not what it meant 30 or 40 years ago. One of the biggest mistakes people make when remarrying after 60 is assuming that love alone will solve loneliness. While companionship is a beautiful thing, it's important to recognize that personal fulfillment comes from within. If you aren't happy on your own, a marriage won't necessarily change that. In fact, entering a marriage with the expectation that it will complete, you can lead to disappointment, especially if the realities of sharing your life with someone feel more restrictive than you expected. Another thing to consider is lifestyle compatibility. At this stage in life, you likely have well-established routines: how you spend your mornings, how you like to travel, even how you manage your social life. If your new partner has a drastically different way of living, it could create friction rather than happiness. Some people are more spontaneous, while others prefer structure. Some enjoy quiet evenings at home, while others thrive in social settings. If you and your potential spouse aren't aligned in these ways, it's worth thinking about how much you're willing to adjust or if those adjustments would ultimately make you happier. Take Frank for example. At 72, he met someone wonderful and quickly remarried, believing that companionship would fill the void of his previous marriage. But as time went on, he realized that his new wife had very different expectations. She wanted to travel frequently while he preferred staying close to home. She was highly social while he cherished quiet time. While they cared for each other, they struggled to find common ground. And Frank often felt like he had lost some of the freedom and comfort he had valued in his single years. Before you remarry, take time to reflect on what truly makes you happy. Do you want a traditional marriage where you share everything? Or would you prefer companionship with personal space? Would you be happier living separately but maintaining a committed relationship? There is no right or wrong answer, only what feels right for you. The most important thing is to ensure that any decision you make supports your long-term happiness, rather than disrupting the peace and fulfillment you've already built in your life. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. Remarrying after 60 can be a wonderful experience, but it's also a decision that comes with important realities. Ones that too many people overlook until they're already in the middle of it. From financial considerations to family dynamics, emotional expectations, legal implications, and your own personal definition of happiness. These are all factors that deserve careful thought before making such a life-changing commitment. The truth is, marriage at this stage of life isn't about following old traditions. It's about making a choice that truly serves you. Some people find deep fulfillment in remarrying, while others realize that they're happiest maintaining their independence or exploring alternative forms of companionship. The most important thing is that whatever path you choose, it aligns with your values, your lifestyle, and your long-term well-being. If today's video has given you something to think about, I encourage you to take your time before making any decisions.
Have the necessary conversations with your loved ones, seek financial and legal guidance, and most importantly, listen to your own needs. There's no rush. This stage of life is about embracing what makes you truly happy, not what others expect or what society tells you is normal. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.